ladies and jelly spoons. I don't have any music today because I didn't plug it in. We're there. Thank you very much, Clio. Clio's here today. Let's get us all. Let's get us three up. I'll tell you exactly where you are in a second. All right, I'm here. You're in the middle, and you're on the other side. So you point to the right. I point to the other way, that way. Okay, that's correct. And I'm pointing that way. No, I'm pointing that way. So if I look this way, I'm pointing. Okay, we'll do it in a minute. What have you got to being late? Detention. I'm getting detention. Oh, yeah. Well, I've got 5 bottles of wine somewhere, so I'm quite happy with that.
Is this our detention?
There's detention. There's a bit of detention there.
I'm sorry, there's detention.
We're just having a bit of fun today, ladles and jelly spoons. So I did my walk today. For those of you who missed the walk, go back and catch it and watch it. It was great. I went. Why is that? I'm just going to move it that way then, have I? There you go. I'm in the middle now. In the middle of the desert. Like the intro. Thank you very much. I still can't do it. There you go. That's better. That's better. So I'm looking this way now. So if I look this way, then I'm talking to the girls. It's a bit weird, isn't it? You're upstairs and you're downstairs. If you want to talk to the girls, you got to look up, okay? And you got to look down. There you go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Balcony banter. I am totally unprepared today, as always, but hey, we got wine. Yeah. Laguna Park has a luggage room, says Trevor.
For detentions.
For detentions, probably. Hello, everybody in the chat, says Ali. Hi, Ali.
Hi, Ali.
Oh, we got another Alison. Alison Wassal has got a birthday today. Feliz cumpleaños.
Felicidades.
So I don't know whether she's on.
Feliz.
Missed the walk back in the office one day, slowly back to normal, says Tina. Oh my God. Now you can't see the comments, right?
No.
And you can't see what's on the screen either. So basically you can only see what is here live. And I'm telling you, ladles and jelly spoons, it's great stuff. It's great stuff. We got a show for you tonight like you wouldn't believe. Singing, dancing, belly dancing.
After balcony banter.
After balcony banter. So what we do have today is we've got, of course, the wonderful, the hilarious Christina.
Ta-da!
Hello, thank you.
She's a little bit higher today in her electric chair. I put her in her electric chair today.
Together in a electric chair.
Oh, you know what I've got to do? I've got to go and bring the thing out. I was loading the.
It's Tim's technical terms.
No,
every time I've got to go.
The thing. I got to bring the thing out. Be right back.
Bang.
I'm sure that. So Christina and Giuliani, of course, and she's going to be. They're going to be talking about indecision, and also what we're all going to talk about what we're looking forward to do. After the lockdown or after the restrictions are lifted. And Clio's here because she has got a finger on the pulse with all the stuff that's going on with the vaccinations. And also we're going to discuss about this PCR test. Do you need one? Do you don't need one? A Brit's allowed, a Brit's not allowed. Yeah, and all that. So all that kind of stuff we're going to be doing. And we're not sure. So, basically we are interpreting things
it is changing
different.
every
I'll
day.
be right back.
I'll tell you that.
It is changing every day.
Yeah.
They're very indecisive, aren't they?
No. They're just, well, on the vaccine news, will I give you the latest? Because, today, one of the biggest questions that myself and Janet Anscombe, Diane McGovern as well, have been getting is, what about people who have only got private insurance? They are legally resident in the Canary Islands, but they've never registered with the Public Health Service. Very simply, the Spanish government have said that our priority are people who are in the Public Health Service. They are the people who have been registered and are on our list as public health patients. So they have, said these are the people we're vaccinating. Today, finally, the Canarian regional government has said people who are legally resident in Tenerife but are only on private health insurance may now go to their health centres.
Okay.
With all their paperwork and may register as como alta de persona desplazada, which basically means, it sounds pretty awful, but it's saying that you're a displaced person. It means you're not registered on the health service.
But this only applies for like COVID vaccinations, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, but finally, up until now, they haven't been able to.
Yeah. No, because with other type of vaccinations.
But you can get those from your private health providers.
Not all.
Which ones?
Like, what is it when you get bitten by some kind of animal?
Rabies?
Yeah, some kind of shot like that. Because I am privately insured, and the vaccination that I should have gotten from a private doctor was given by the
Public.
public one.
Okay.
I had to do it through the public one.
Okay, I didn't know, but I
So-
mean, at the moment, the vaccine
Yeah.
has, nobody in Spain can buy the vaccine, and that's been the thing.
Exactly.
Like, private health insurers have not been able to give it to their patients. But from today,
Yeah.
the regional government says, go to your health centre, and I've already heard of people who have successfully done this, that once the health centre give you this form of registration,
Yeah.
they will then say you are now eligible to be called for your vaccination. And this weekend, in the big centres in Gran Canaria and in Tenerife, people who are registered and who are on the public health system can go without an appointment if they're over 60 on Saturday and Sunday and get a vaccination.
Okay, great.
Get their first vaccination.
That's good. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just
It
a
was-
formality, right? Counting.
Well, it has to. The thing is, it has to be registered.
Exactly.
Because if they're going to actually issue a digital cert, which they're planning to do, it needs to be totally and completely registered what vaccination
And
you've had,
counted.
when you've had it, and counted. I mean,
yeah,
I had my
yeah.
first one last Saturday, which was great, but it was very rigidly recorded
Exactly.
in the computer.
Yes.
So that when
Yeah.
I have my second one, I can then get my digital cert and
Yeah.
I can travel, I hope. So we've done the boring bit, Tim.
That's cool. That's cool. I've been getting.
Oh, that
I've
was
been reading the
exciting.
things here.
Well, I was just like, the thing is, a lot of people went, I put it on a couple of websites today, and a couple of people said, oh, I tried that last week, it didn't work, and the Canarian government isn't telling us the truth. And what I was saying to people is, go back. This has only been announced today, and it is there on the Canarian government website. It's in Spanish, but it's in black and white in Spanish.
I'm glad
And
that
it's
you
there.
bring up the what you call boring stuff because it brings a lot of clarity.
Well,
It does.
but I can't always bring the clarity. But today it was like, yes, finally we can tell people they can get registered if you are not resident here, and if you have stayed here because of COVID, but you are still legally resident in another country. That's a different story.
Well, that's the one. That's a friend of mine. He's Danish, and he stays here 6 months.
Yeah.
And he never does the 90-day thing. So after 90 days, he doesn't register with the police. So he's never actually got a green certificate. He just pops in and pops out. And now he's stuck here, can't go back to Denmark. And I've told him go anyway, because the more you ask, they might just sort of say, look, we want everybody to be
I
thing.
had to deal with a case today of somebody who was in a similar situation, and she doesn't want to become a resident.
Right.
And I was told in the Indecision Padron office, well, if she doesn't want to become a resident, there's nothing we can
Oh no,
do.
he's on the Padron, right? He's got an
Well,
NIE,
then he should try. If he has a Padron,
but he doesn't have a green European thing.
I would say from today, with this new announcement by the regional government, because obviously it's in the interest of the Canarian government and
Right,
island
right,
to
that's
have
what I
everybody
told
vaccinated.
So if he's
If
on
he
the
has a
Padron,
passport and he can bring an up-to-date Padron
Yep.
certificate,
yeah, he can.
he can go and ask.
Cool. That's. I'll
And
send
I
him
would
that way.
suggest even maybe printing out that bit of new information because sometimes
Exactly. Well-
the officials don't even know about new
Exactly.
regulations.
It's on. What I did was deliberately, for that very reason, Juliani, on the Residents of Tenerife page and a few other pages, I posted the actual link and text in Spanish, as well as translating it. So
Yeah.
people, I did say, here is the link for the official page. So
You
can-
did your homework, girl.
I did my job. I did my job. That's why I
Right,
get
people are
paid to make
commenting,
books.
so we're going to do the comments. First of all, they're saying that try turning their mics on, Tim.
Ooh.
But I think they're already on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all mics offline.
Okay,
So
we could hear each other.
Yeah.
this is my microphone. Oh, you know what?
We're not plugged in. Oh, that's the one. That was the first party
Oh
tower.
my god, my god, my god, my god. Wired line mic input. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you caught me again. You caught me. I apologize. So this is my microphone. The wind noise is because it was using the microphone of the iPad. Now we have Christina's microphone. Say hello.
Hello.
Oh, there she is. And now we have Juliani's microphone.
Hello.
Oh, there's ASMR. And now we have Clio's microphone. In
How's
fact,
it going?
I specifically didn't turn it on just now because I knew she was going to shout.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Hi, y'all.
Or how's she cutting?
How's she going?
Anybody
So-
who's been watching Line of Duty recently, I've got a couple of new ones for Ted Hastings.
Go on.
Well, how's she cutting would be one. I don't think
How's
he's
she
used
cutting?
that, but Holy Mother of God and the Wee. No, but no, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph and the Wee Donkey
And the wee donkey.
was the best.
Well, I thought that the Holy Family lived in Gardner Street, anyway, in Dublin.
Well, that was no. That I remember hearing that one too. That somebody asked in religion class, where did the Holy Family live? And they said they live just up the road from me, miss. I was going to school this morning and I heard someone say, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, get out of bed, you're late for work.
Exactly. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I apologise. We had everything set up. We could hear ourselves perfectly. I was doing all the mixing while you were saying we can't hear anybody. Well, they can't hear you. They just it was just
We
low.
were
very low.
we
And
were
there was lots of wind and all
very
that.
distant.
And now we're back in the room. So I've also, there we go, loud and clear. We forgive you, Timmy. Thank you very, very much. Paula's on. I'm not going to say everybody's name, but thank you. Everybody's saying it's better. So we're not going to start again, except for the fact that now the dog starts barking. There you go. So what we're going to do is, actually, I saw Daniel on Crackmaster. If you want to come in, Daniel, I've opened the room up. And I will see you pop in. No, you don't have to. If you just want to listen in the background, that's fine by me. And anybody else, if Rick's online or anybody else wants to come on and say something about Indecision, come in. And if we like the look of you, we'll let you on. And you won't be on immediately until I press you, but I can see you in the preview here.
He might decide to let you on.
Yeah, he might. Oh, then again, he might not.
Yeah.
It's all about decisions.
Okay, so I want to see if Alison's on yet. So I don't know whether she's on because it's her birthday, but we want to sing to her. But I won't sing to her. She's not on.
Yes, that would be a bit silly.
Mics are fine. Oh, if anybody, and I'm not doing this to get a donation, but if anybody donated, I am apologise, but I can't see it. I'll have to go in and get my little iPad when we go and do something else. And also got to make sure that the chili isn't burning. The chili's not burning.
That's very important.
And I made only vegetarian
You're a great lad.
because you're going to take some home, right?
Yes, please.
Okay.
The veggie burgers were also really great, by the
okay.
way.
Well, I made veggie burgers because you were coming and then you didn't come
Last week.
last week.
Oh,
Right?
see, this is called payola.
Payola. There you go. Anyway, so
Sponsored by Banter.
today's topic is indecision, and I don't know whether to go and get my iPad or not. Should I go and get my iPad? I don't know.
Yeah, go on.
Go and get it. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to play the intro again for those of you who missed it. So that means I'm going to mute everybody here and play the intro while I get my iPad so that we can take a breath as well. So we're going offline. And back in the room. Thank you very much, ladles and jelly spoons. Error while loading. Tap to retry.
Decisions.
Decisions. Where did decisions come from? Somebody asked.
It's probably a Greek word. Is it a Greek word?
I'm not
I
sure.
wonder.
I think it was where decisions come from. Lol. So
Yeah, I know, but I'm
Okay.
wondering where the word came. Probably came from deck, which means
Ten.
deck chair, and isions, which means will I put it up or not?
shall I put my deck chair up or not? Okay. So
I haven't been drinking, I swear.
what I was discussing this morning on my walk was the fact that since July last year, we've had a law in the Schengen zone that nobody from outside the Schengen zone can enter without a specific reason. And this law has been in since July last
And
year.
the reason is not, I want to go on holidays.
Right, so they are a specific reason. Now, I've got to say this very slowly because it's going to go step by step now.
Okay.
So the specific reason, and holidays not the specific reason. There are some countries that negotiated a corridor, which is like China, New Zealand, Australia, South Korea, and even a mid-African country called...
I think
can't-
India, even for a while,
Yeah, but pre-thing. And Canada as well. But they were allowed in. So that's the
Sorry,
first
Tim.
hurdle that we've got to do. And because people came on holiday last year and says, well, I came on holiday from Britain last year, yeah, because you were in the European Union Transition Agreement. Since the first, UK is outside. Obviously, everybody knows that now. So that's one of the hurdles. And that has been extended until the 31st of May. So that's the first hurdle we've got to get over for this law. Mm-hmm. The second hurdle is that the Spanish state of alarm finished on Sunday, and the responsibility for implementing any measures was given to the autonomous communities, specifically the government and the health authority of the autonomous community. Yeah. Autonomous community being the Canary Islands in this case. Mm-hmm. In the Canary Islands, we have two provinces. This is Santa Cruz and
Gran Canaria, Las Palmas de Gran Canaria.
Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. So there's two provinces, one autonomous community. And they now have the power to decide whether we're wearing masks, whether we're going out at night.
What time? No. Can I interrupt and make it complicated? The curfew.
No, don't make it complicated.
Right.
Don't
Leave the don't go out at night, because that's actually not part of the regional government.
That's not part of the regional government. Okay. So certain things they can decide on.
They can decide when bars close, when restaurants close, when they open.
Gotcha.
Okay? But
Gotcha.
not a curfew.
But not a curfew. Okay.
That's been the big thorny issue all week.
Okay, that was the reason why we don't have a curfew now.
Exactly, because
Because
the
we
Supreme
can't
Court
put it in.
Exactly, the Supreme Court have said they are not going to allow the regional governments to bring that in.
Okay. And the national government's not bringing it in.
What? Because we're now out of the state of the alarm, the regional governments make the decisions.
Okay, and they haven't made... Okay.
But the Supreme Court says curfew is an issue of human rights.
An issue of human rights.
I think so. I mean, it's
Cool.
not under normal circumstances, when there isn't a state of emergency, the government can't tell you when you can and can't go out.
Okay. So this is how complicated it is, and this was not the point of the conversation.
Sorry.
No, but I mean, no, but it is that a lot of people are. I'm talking to the people that believe that they can come on holiday on the 20th of May. And whether there's a curfew or not, or who decides there's a curfew or not, is probably not going to be on that. Although when you get here, it's nice to know that there isn't one. But anyway, so the government now can decide whether they take the European recommendation to not let people outside the EU in. Mm. So it's not the EU that's making the decision. The EU is making a recommendation, and that will be reviewed on the 31st of May. But it's up to the regional government now to decide whether they let a non-European in or not.
Or earlier, I mean, the regional government, as far as I'm aware, can also negotiate. I mean, this happened in the past, in the middle of the pandemic last summer,
Right.
when, for instance, the UK decided to recognise parts of Spain and treat them differently.
Right.
So the Canary Islands was given a particular status by the UK in terms of whether travel was allowed to the Canary Islands, which was separate to the peninsula, the Spanish mainland.
Gotcha.
Germany did the same. So, like last week or 10 days ago, the president of the Balearic Islands invited Britain to send tourists over.
All right.
So they were taking the decision to say to Britain, we'd like your tourists to come over. Now the Spanish...
So what happened to the Schengen agreement then? Because once you get to the Balearic Islands, you can take a plane anywhere in Schengen. And that was the problem that Europe had, to say, look, it's okay you decided to get people in, but as soon as they're in there, if they go to another Schengen country, either drive over the border or fly somewhere, then what's the problem
because
there? So.
This is how complicated it gets, because there was a second issue that the Canarian government need to talk to the Supreme Court about, and that is the closure of provincial borders. Mm-hmm. right? So they are saying, right, we will give up the fight on the curfew because they know they're not going to win that. But even if there's no curfew, if everything is closed at 11 o'clock, where are you going to go? You can go to the beach with a bottle, but you're not allowed to drink in public, so you might get arrested for that.
Okay.
But the other thing the Canarian government want to be able to maintain is the right to close down any island that goes back up to level 3 or 4.
Okay.
Right.
So close the border for inter-island hopping.
And say people coming in or leaving to the peninsula, so that you wouldn't be
Gotcha.
able to. Now
And
that is
international.
still going to be looked at by the Supreme Court, as far as I'm aware. That is still under consideration.
So let's put it in the guise of I'm the Mac master and I want to come back to Spain. I want to come back to Tenerife. When can I come?
At the moment, some people believe you might be able to come on the 20th of May because
Okay.
there have been comments by the National Tourism Minister that she is willing to look at reopening the country on the 20th of May. I have not seen what is called a BOE.
Right. No, I'm
And
not either.
that is basically, guys, that is the official bulletin that the state issue when they make a new decision, or it's a BOC, which is when the Canarian government issue a new decree. And until that is published, nothing is actually legally relevant.
They're using the words like could and may and should.
Yeah.
They're not using the words like will and when
Yeah.
and why.
So people are posting, I've booked my holidays for May the 17th. Can I come over? I would still say, I doubt it.
I doubt it,
Because
yeah.
they have, as we know, turned people back at the airport. And you have screaming headlines about, 6 people deported from Alicante airport. Well, no, they weren't. They were told they couldn't come in.
That's right.
Because they didn't actually meet all the requirements.
But the thing is that also there must be an onus on the airlines to sort of say, are you sure you've got all your ducks in a row before you go?
Really?
Well,
Would
yeah.
they argue that no, their onus is to fly you because that's what you paid for
You
a
paid
ticket
to
to
fly,
fly?
yeah.
They didn't actually. I mean, they're not going to tell you how to wipe your arse in the toilet. Excuse me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're an airline, so they are paid to fly you from A to B.
What about then the health authority that tells you to fill out the tracking form?
That's the locator form.
That's the locator form, and that's nothing to do with whether you're allowed in or not. That's what happens if you get here.
Yeah, I mean that's a curious one because at the moment the only real kind of clear guidance is that people who have been allowed into Spain are residents. So whether you're a Spanish or you're a European resident, but resident in Spain,
any resident,
any resident,
So
you've been
Russian
allowed in.
or
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
Okay.
But one of the hugely important things has been to always bring all your documentation with you.
Yeah.
So whether or not, I mean, I would argue that I can see an airline arguing it's got nothing to do with me. I like if somebody, an airline at border control, they will look at visas, but the airline isn't going to check your visa. They're not police. An airline steward doesn't have the authority to tell you whether you can or can't fly to a country.
That's true. We just got Daniel came in with the Crackmaster, so I'm going to unmute him. Can you hear us, Daniel?
Yes, I can indeed. Can you hear me all
I
right?
can't hear you.
You can't.
And we want to.
But I can't hear you, Dan.
You can't. Hold on one sec.
Crackmaster, mute, unmute.
Hello?
Hello?
Ah, you know why?
Can you hear me now?
It's my fault. Oh, try again.
No.
Can you
Yeah, we can.
Hi,
Yeah.
Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
I just haven't turned you on the mixing
It's
desk.
saying I'll go out and come back in.
No, you're
No,
fine.
it's working now. It's my. Oh, he's gone.
All right.
That was my fault. Oh, Dan will be coming back in, but yeah, because he's got a Tenerife first excursions.
He does.
So he's really looking forward to them coming back in. Yeah, I'm going to unmute him here now. That was my fault, Dan. Sorry. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
We
We
can.
could. We could hear you before. It's just that I hadn't turned you up. So let's do this. Let's go.
He's having a couple of faulty
1,
towers
2,
moments,
3,
Dan.
4.
Hey, look, I'm the king of faulty towers, dude. So
So there's 4 of us now. I'm probably in the wrong spot now because I'm going to be looking outside. I'm going to do this again. So don't go away. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. How's that? Okay. So I think we're all on now. So Dan, I know you were following it before. We're talking about the people coming in and the PCR tests and all that. We didn't even get to the PCR testing. We were so hung up on whether you could come in or not. I just want to finalise that. So the PCR testing is a part of the European Centre for Disease Control list, which they keep to have countries which are on the high risk and low risk lists. Now the high risk and the low risk is basically if you're in a country with less than 50 cases per 100,000,
Exactly.
then you are on a low risk list. And any low risk list country in Europe can enter Spain now, right? Without a PCR test.
Yeah.
But they have to be resident because that's the rules, right?
Yeah.
So there are like three rules that you've got to look at. The PCR rule is if your country is under that 50 per 100,000, then you're good to go. You don't need a PCR test. But there is also the local rule, which says you need an antigen test to go to a hotel.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're coming home to come and stay with friends, you probably don't need that.
Yeah, but that's the problem. If you go, most people are going to be going to a hotel or something like that. Is the antigen test connected to the high risk, low risk, or is it just everybody?
I don't know.
So there's another thing you've got to look at. So a lot of people are saying the holidays this year are going to cost me 10 times as much because I not only have to do this, but if we're still on the orange list from Britain, they need two tests on the.
But I do believe, Daniel, maybe you know more about this. I'm hearing that the cost of these tests is plummeting. So that like TUI, for instance, are charging now €50 for a PCR test rather than 150. So the cost of your PCR test is dropping by at least half in a lot of instances. So obviously companies like TUI and EasyJet want people to travel. So I'm sure that they are going to be looking at how to get the cost of tests down.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned before, and Daniel, this would obviously affect people coming from Ireland. If we can get our digital certificates, and if, for instance, you're vaccinated, you don't need a test. If you show your digital certificate that you have been vaccinated and you're travelling from a low risk country to another low risk country, I imagine.
Yeah.
But again, it's not clear.
Yeah, but I think it's a high risk and vaccinated that you won't need it because your low risk country you don't need it anyway because of the CDC ruling.
Going into Ireland, for instance, at the moment, even coming from a low-risk country, I think you still have to have a PCR test. And if you're coming from a high-risk country, you are obliged to quarantine in government-nominated hotels, which is another €1,800.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of things there's a lot of things you need to take into consideration before you book your holiday.
Yeah.
Now, I know Lee's not going to do that. He's just going to book his ticket and get here because he doesn't care whether he goes home or not.
The one thing, if I can just say, Tim, always remember when you're booking a ticket is you've got to take the rules of two countries into consideration. The one you're leaving and the one you'll probably want to go back to and the one that you're going into.
Okay.
And the two might not be in parallel because just because Boris Johnson says you can leave the UK doesn't mean that Pedro Sanchez says you can go into Spain.
Well, there you go. That Pedro Sanchez
Parallel universe.
In parallel. In parallel. In pares, as they say in Spanish. In pare. Uneven.
It felt like a game of table tennis, this thing, you know.
No,
Because
yeah.
literally, 1 second it's like you can leave the UK, but you can't come to Spain. Then you can, you know, one would say yes, the other would say no, the other one would say no, the other one would say yeah. And it was just like, the way I see it now, the way I'm doing it is just take every day as it comes, and when it's very clear, then it's clear. And for me, when I see tourists on the street here, then I see tourists on the street.
Absolutely.
I'm
That's
trying to
very
avoid.
good.
I've lost that kind of idea of like, oh, I'm going to hope for tomorrow, hope for this. I do have hope, no doubt, but I deal with the present and what's in front of me and what's happening right now. And at the moment, unfortunately, we don't have British tourists, but we have other tourists here booking, and we have to make do with what's in front of us, and that's it. That's the reality.
Yeah,
and
absolutely, I agree with that.
That's my rant over.
And be grateful what you have and with what you can
100%.
work. With what you can work, because we can only work with what we got right in front of us. And as you said, like this ping pong, it's a mental ping pong actually.
It's like that really old computer game.
But we can individually we can decide if we want to play that game of mental ping pong. And I mean, if we are not like really 100% sure and made the decision, oh yes, I'm going to Tenerife or I'm going there and there, and I definitely need to figure out what I will need to have in place in order to travel. Then it's in my opinion, it doesn't really make too much sense to play that ping pong game, that mental ping pong game. because it can really get you or suck you into something that is a dangerous.
yourself crazy.
You
a
probably need a
spiral.
holiday after your holiday.
Absolutely, and I mean, our topic today is an indecision.
Yes.
And indecision is sort of like a mental disorder. It's something that is not in order. You're constantly like worrying or doubting about something, and it's something that is not clear. But then get clearance about it. And bring order into all that confusion, and then you have a decision.
Yeah.
But only when you actually need to decide for something, or else it's just, I mean, I can discuss many issues, but it's actually not my cup of tea.
Not your cup of tea.
I think.
Not my
So go ahead, Daniel.
So yeah, just to follow on with what you were saying, I think in the short, brief history I've had in my life, I think the word indecision, and one of the most painful places in life is indecision, because when you've made a decision to go a direction or the right direction, whatever it is, it's like putting off something because you're not sure whether you should do it or not. For example, you could be in pain with a toothache. And you can't make the decision to go to the dentist, but the pain of suffering with a toothache is far more painful than the actual decision of actually, you know what, I'm going to the dentist and putting off things, like through procrastination. Sometimes for me, indecision can be one of the most painful places, and the fear of making the decision because maybe it's the wrong one, and not taking that step for fear, or many reasons why you might not make the decision. In my, when I was younger and I had a lot of fear, I was full of fear, making the decision to, put my hand up in class or go for the football team or whatever it was because of fear. I suffered more from not making that decision. I hope that makes sense.
No,
That's
absolutely.
it
Really makes a lot of sense, and it's right what you're saying. Like indecision crystallizes into something like doubt. And I'm not talking about Christine and Tim.
No doubt about it.
So so indecision and crystallizes into doubt, and then those two blend into something like fear. And fear is something that is on an emotional level, on a subconscious level, and it always expresses itself then on a physical level. If we keep on dealing with indecision and doubt for over a long period of time, it will reflect on a physical level, and it expresses it in some sort of shape or form, and that's why it's always good to make decisions, or at least try to find solutions. Talking to people who know about the facts, or or even yourself. Sometimes those fears are not necessarily external, but going on internally. Like what you were describing, Daniel. It's oftentimes internal little wars that we are fighting. And then we are the indecision, the cause for indecision, or the causer. Causer? Do you say that? The causer, you know what I mean. The one who causes.
I don't know if it's cause or no.
The guilty party.
Not guilty.
The culprit.
The one. Thank you, Daniel.
The one who causes.
The culprit. That is the
Oh,
word.
culprit. Yeah.
Nice
Culprit,
one.
that is a good one.
Yeah, I've lost my English. That's all. Too much Spanglish.
It's the causer. I think it's the causer.
It's the causer. I just made up a
word.
word.
Be the causer from
We'll
now
run with
on.
causer. We'll add it to the dictionary tomorrow. I'll email Colin.
You're nothing but a feckin' causer.
Oh dear. My dad used to say, any decision is the right decision. Indecision is the wrong decision.
There you go.
And I really took that to heart, because I've made some decisions in my life that were life-changing decisions.
The biggies.
Especially moving and breaking relationships and bonding with relationships,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So I've made some decisions in my life that I look back and none of them I would do differently. None of them I would do differently, but I would maybe look at the consequences before making them next time. You
But
know?
you never can.
You never can.
But you learn. And what you said,
I never learned.
you do.
I didn't learn.
Some learn through
I'm
fun
fairly sure
and
you
some
did,
learn
Bob.
through pain.
No.
Do you remember that fabulous old film? I mean, I love it. It's a Wonderful Life. If anyone's seen it, it's one of the Christmas movies with Jimmy
I'm too
Stewart.
young.
Oh, with the Jimmy Stewart one, okay.
where he wishes he wants to kill himself, and the angel instead takes him out of the world as if he was never born. And his consequences, it wasn't just the decisions he did or didn't make; it's the lack of of decisions that affected everybody else around him.
Right,
If you hadn't
right.
moved here, we wouldn't know you. We wouldn't be doing this
Exactly.
balcony banter.
Exactly.
You always have an impact.
You know, and it's not just about
Yeah.
the decisions or the effect your decisions had on you. It's that pebble in the pond.
So it's
thing.
just my aura, just being here.
Exactly. It's
your-
your
Wow.
aura.
It's the
That's-
causer. You're
that's-
the causer aura.
That's pressure, that is, man. That is pressure.
I was going to ask you.
Sometimes.
Yeah?
Go on, sorry.
No, I was going to ask Christine, how did you guys feel? Or, yeah, I mean, how did you feel when you decided, when you actually made the decision that you were going to move here? How did you feel about it?
I was a bit anxious because I knew I would hurt lots of people.
By leaving
Like
Germany.
My parents,
Yeah?
but I looked forward to it.
Okay.
And we made the decision like that, didn't we?
We did.
Oh, so it was yeah.
You just felt right, did it?
We came for a fortnight's holiday in March 2012,
Yeah.
and I gave up my job in. I gave him a notice March 23rd. No, September 2013,
Wow.
and we were over in 2014.
Okay.
So 2012 we decided, and then we booked 5 holidays, one for each season.
That
And
was clever.
And each holiday we hired a car and went to a different part of the island, all over the island, and we decided where we wanted to live. We ended up deciding the south, and then we said anywhere between Los Cristianos and La Caleta, and we couldn't find an apartment that took a wheelchair. They were all small, or the elevator wasn't correct, or something like that.
Sure.
So
The
we were actually
doors were really small.
So to just maneuver inside.
Yeah.
right. So we could go in, like we went to see a flat in Santa Maria, and we walked in, but we couldn't turn the wheelchair to go into the bathroom.
So that's it. Impractical
Yeah.
out.
And we actually told the person who was helping us look, say, pretend you've got a big shopping cart full of shopping, and if you can take that in the bathroom and spin it round.
Well,
then
that makes
that's okay.
sense.
Yeah, it was.
There we go.
But she didn't understand. She didn't understand. So she kept showing us stuff. No, she kept showing us.
I need nothing. Yeah.
And I said, well, what about the shopping basket? What about the shopping cart?
Well, girl.
She says, I've got 2 bags. You know? But this flat really fell into our laps.
Yeah.
It really did. I mean, it was a German couple that were going back to Germany. In fact, they live downstairs now because they came back. But they would rent this the whole year and then just come a few times a year, right?
Okay.
And then they left the year that we wanted it. It's the greatest balcony ever.
It is.
It is.
And the building is the only building that has got a ramp in there.
Right.
It's got a
Perfect.
ramp in there.
Yeah,
So
and
it
you
was
get to be
love
my
at
neighbour, so I mean
first
that was
sight.
the plus.
We got somebody coming in there. You're muted at the moment. If you could go back out and turn your camera sideways, that'll be better.
Just put your head like that.
Yeah, you can put your head like that. If you got
Daniel, you were going to say something earlier.
Sorry,
Yes.
it won't work.
Sorry,
it
I
won't.
interrupted.
I've got to just tell this guy. It won't work if you just turn it sideways. You got to go out and come back in. Unfortunately. Oh, it did work. There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, we went
Julian.
out anyway.
All right. What was Daniel going to say?
Sorry, Daniel. What were you going to say?
No problem. No, it was actually Julian. You don't have to apologise. I actually ended up cutting across you. It was the other way around. So yeah, what I was trying to say, I think, was it was about decision, and I was going to say that sometimes, in my opinion, I'm not saying it's right because my opinion is wrong quite a lot. That a decision is making no decision at all. For me, a lot of the times, making that decision, like when I'm not in doubt of the decision I'm about to make, and it's not clear in my eyes that one way or the other is 100%. Sometimes I make a decision to not make that decision until I see the right signs pointing me in the right direction.
that makes
and
sense.
That
and
is
and
really good.
and being comfortable with the fact that I'm making that decision not to make the decision, but and saying, right, okay, I'm going to wait for, like, it might be a job change or whatever it is. When you're sitting there going, okay, I might not want to be in the job right now, but I need a sign that puts me in the right direction, that I believe that the decision I make is going to be the correct decision.
Yeah.
And what you touched on there as well, which I really liked, is obviously you all know that I'm in recovery for a certain period of time. One of the things that I became massive for me was chasing money, for a long time in my early recovery, because I sought something outside of myself to give me happiness, when actually the inside is more important. What's inside, if you've got inside happiness, that's more important. But when I was about to go and spend money, I learned a trick of going in, standing in the shop, and I still do it sometimes, and I sit there and I play what I say is, I play the tape right to the end. So me going to the thing, picking it up, buying it, going home, opening it up, and seeing why I've actually bought whatever it is.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I
is
love
it
that.
is it to fix something inside, or is it actually something that I physically need? You know what I mean? As
love
opposed to
that.
buying stuff
That's
randomly.
wonderful.
And you
Play the
brought
tape
up
to the end.
something really, really good. I really love that concept. It's playing it until the end, and obviously you're seeing it in your mind. And what you were saying earlier on about realizing that it's externally happening, something has overtaken you externally, but then adapting to that kind of concept is like really taking charge. You are the one in charge of your internal state. So you are taking control, gaining control over your internal state again, playing it until the end. And I think this is a very good way and a good solution to always go back to the inside state, to the internal state, where everything starts from. There wouldn't be any external if there wasn't an internal. There's always this this opposite. And what you were saying about recovery, it's a concept that I use in teaching as well. It's the surrendering, like in moments where you are looking to make a decision. It's always good to know that you can look for signs, and I know for some people who are not familiar with this kind of concept, it might sound a little woo-woo and a bit out of somewhere
You're not
else.
looking for a thunderclap.
I'm sorry, David. You were waiting to come in, and we didn't. We were
Sorry,
talking.
David.
And David's gone out now again. So, David, if you're still watching, you can come back in and say hello if you want. I wasn't ignoring you. I was just waiting for a break in the conversation. Sorry about that.
But I want to ask that. I mean, when you talk about signs, and Jan as well, I know you don't mean that, you suddenly see the cloud in shape of your mother.
No.
No,
It's internal,
simple.
is it?
It's an internal process, and it's more like for instance, you are in a moment where you need to make a decision, like Daniel was describing, and it's so difficult, and you're so overwhelmed with the situation that you don't know the right way,
So
which way to go. But then it's good to get back to this relaxation moment where you can actually find solutions. Because what happens when we are like too much pushing and putting too much pressure on something, and we want, then it's not gonna happen, and then we are probably making the wrong decisions. But if we step back and if we surrender to the situation and maybe ask the higher force, if you believe in it, for help and guidance, then it's always gonna come and show its way.
Sometimes the
in some
decision
shape.
will actually become irrelevant.
Also.
I mean, I found that I've learned to kind of we talked about this, I know, when Daniel was here, take a deep breath when there's a decision that you can't make, like you said, Daniel.
Yeah.
And if you step back and you say, okay, I'll give it a day. And something happened in the next 24 hours that actually makes the decision irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because something else
Yeah.
has moved on. And that's quite
Yeah.
an amazing thing when it happens, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. It
And,
really...
and something happens that makes you realize that if you had made that decision, you might have caused more problems in your life, more damage,
Exactly.
or whatever it is,
Exactly.
by making
Yeah.
that decision. And all of a sudden you're like, now I know why the right decision was not to make a decision,
Yeah.
was to sit
Yeah.
back and make the decision more clear. And some of the ways I always imagine it is if you're sitting by the ocean and you're wondering, you want to go and swim with the flow of the tide, and you're not sure which way the tide is flowing, that normally the signs appear eventually, like the boats turn a certain way, that you wait for those signs that, okay, that's
Yeah.
the way I should be swimming.
Yeah.
I should be going that way because the tide's going that way. And it's the same in life. It's like you said, for me anyways, the signs are not clear, but they appear. And it's not like as you said, this ray of light comes down on me and you hear this angel sign, whoa,
Oh, the
it's time to make this
sign.
decision. It's like maybe someone, your mother rings you. Like my mother might ring me and
Okay,
say
yeah,
something that's
exactly.
very pertinent
Exactly.
to the direction I'm going. And
Yeah.
I believe, I have my own beliefs, but I believe that the direction, if I want to speak good, orderly direction, speaks through people in my
Yeah,
life.
I think
As
you're-
I sometimes
Yeah.
might say something to someone that it connects right with them, and I think, now I know which way to go.
Yeah,
You
and,
know,
and
if that
again,
makes
we're not
sense.
talking about Facebook ads suddenly popping up for breakfast cereal because you happened to mention
No,
it
that was-
and Siri was listening.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
If my mother called me and told me what to think and how to decide, that would definitely be an angel.
Yeah, right. Well, same here. Same
Yeah.
here. But I mean, and Daniel, if I can...
I'm just going to do two things. I'm sorry. I'd like to thank Vincent and Andrew Horseman for both supporting the channel. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
I just can't
Thank
get a
you,
word in
guys.
edgeways today. I can't get a word in edgeways today. But I think that is a good thing. So I'm really happy that
No,
we're
go
all
ahead.
having fun. So you all guys go ahead. I'm just going to go and stir the chili. I'll be right back, okay?
Stir it.
I just want to ask you, Daniel, when you're... it just strikes me sometimes... and I don't know if this is your experience, the decisions that you're finding that you can't make or you shouldn't make, I wonder, are they when it's about persuading somebody else to do something as well? When you feel, what I'm saying is maybe the decision you can't make is because you don't want to push somebody else in a direction that you feel maybe you want to go. And that's when you need to step back, because it's not just about you, it's about somebody else as well. In my experience, they're the decisions I shouldn't make sometimes because they're involving somebody else, and I need to let them perhaps make the decision for me or change the parameters a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think all the decisions, it can be with someone, it can be without someone. I mean, the tough decisions are big life-changing decisions for me. Generally, I need to sit back, or I have a kind of rule now because I'm very compulsive. You know, I might make a decision off a whim. So one of the things is when it's like business related, for example, going into business with someone or opening a new shop, which I've done in the past, and someone's standing there and they're pushing because they either want the sale or they want to close it.
Yeah.
I'll always say to them, look, nothing personal, mate, but I don't make decisions on the spot. I always do a sleep. I do 24 hours. I sleep in it. I have a think about it in my own space, and I don't make the decision. So, and then when you talk about other people, one of the things I try and assess, and I make the mistake, I push people to go the way that I want to because I want my will,
Exactly.
which isn't a great thing. But what I do try and do is sit back and not push people as much as I used to in the past, and just kind of sit back and say, well, let give people the space, the same way as I would want the space if it's a big decision for me to make, like, and let them decide, and also be accepting of their decision, because sometimes, like, the child in me is, if the decision doesn't meet my expectations, I will throw, the best way of describing it is I'll throw the teddy out of the pram,
Oh, what?
and
Yeah.
and I'll get annoyed, and until they go my way, which is, that's not fair. I wouldn't expect that from someone towards me, so it's I suppose it's all part of life's journey, is learning those different things in life and how to interact in relationships
Yeah.
with people,
Right.
and
Right.
I understand what you're saying, and sometimes I fail on that, and sometimes I don't, but
It's a
I
learning
truly
curve.
believe I'm learning,
We're also only humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's a good concept, and it's realization. I think the first step to be better, to be a better human, and to actually see that we can only master our own selves, and not we cannot really put our will up on somebody
No,
else,
and understand the effects
And-
of our actions.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's sometimes challenging if that goes against our own will. I can see that, and it's upsetting sometimes. But yeah, that's life,
Maybe
and
it's right.
and it only shows us that we can improve on ourselves, on our own rage.
It's a real bummer to be wrong sometimes, though,
And
isn't it?
don't rage against the machine.
I think for me, one of the biggest things that kind of, you talked about making the right decision and seeing, let's say, for want of a better way of describing it, the signs or the moments that give you the clarity to make the decision. One of the massive things, and I was actually looking at the stats this morning on a meditation app that I have, and I've been meditating at least once a day since the beginning of 2018. My level of making decisions has improved massively because of taking silent time, 10 minutes every day of absolute silence with breath, meditating and connecting with what I believe to be the silence in my life that allows me. I find that if I don't meditate in the morning, for example, sometimes I miss it and I make the effort of doing it later on. I find that I'm a little bit out of tune for the day, if that makes sense. I think meditation is a fantastic form of connecting and silencing the mind to be able to make the right
Absolutely.
decisions in your life.
It is.
How do you meditate if you have tinnitus like me? Because when I'm alone and I don't think anything, I don't do anything, I have this
Do you have tinnitus?
two-tone tinnitus.
Oh, no.
And it's a very high-pitched one and a mid-pitched one. And I've had it since I was a kid, because I used to think the sound of silence was actually this
Buzzing.
whistle.
Is it a buzzy
Wow.
or a whistle?
It's a whistle, and it's a very high-pitched whistle. I can even, I've even got an app on my phone where
There's
I
a
can...
sign.
We've got another one down there. There's two of them.
Oh,
Does
there
it
we
go with the sound of the ocean?
No, it's basically like an electric high-pitched whistle.
Right.
It's
And
ba-
can you add any sound that reduces the level of that sound in your ears?
Basically, the only thing I can do, I've gotten it wrong here. Hang on. The only thing I can do is play the same sound on my phone,
Right,
and it
okay.
cancels it out.
Right. Well, that's
But,
not
uh,
And
well.
what have the doctor said?
Sorry?
Have you gone to the doctors about it?
I told the doctor, and they said they sent me for a hearing test, and they checked me hearing. They said your hearing's getting bad. So basically,
Right.
they just said there's nothing you can do. There's nothing wrong with your ears. It's maybe I was just loud music when I was a kid. I don't know.
You should see the sound of
I've
metal.
mild as well from
Yep.
DJing for years, for 10 years, like with Everton full volume. I have very, very mild that sound, but not a high level when it's silent. But one of the things I could suggest, if Julianne might throw in a suggestion as well, I'm guessing. Well, I don't know who meditates in this group. I've never had the discussion, I think, about meditation. Or maybe I have it and I've forgotten. Head like a sieve. But what I would suggest and what works for me is, even with sound around me, the trick, and even like my head races at 90 miles per hour. I have a brain that functions too fast in the wrong way. I just thoughts all the time. So not always is my meditation silence. Not always is my thoughts come, thoughts go, sounds come, sounds go. But the trick for me is I do it very simple. Breathe in through my nose. Imagine the air coming in, going into my lungs, filling my lungs, and exhaling through my mouth. And I imagine, I always, when my mind wanders, I always bring it back to the breath. And I guess it might work with the sound, I don't know, but where you bring it back to just focusing on the air coming in. You can even give the air a color if you want, coming in through your nose and out through your mouth, and just focusing on that. And you're bringing it back to the breath all the time. And that's the simple method I use, and I have been using. It works for me.
Yeah, that
I
works
don't know the
very
guys.
good. And then that breath becomes more the sound you're focusing on, actually.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I can actually think the tinnitus away sometimes. You know,
There you go.
I can think it away.
Similar.
I know it's there, but it's not present. And then sometimes it's piercing, right? Chris, you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
she
it
got
changes.
an electric
Jim.
chair, so she's very dangerous today. If she presses the button in the
Chris
wrong way,
on wheels.
we're all gone. We're all
she
over
can
the
go
balcony. right?
racing.
Oh God.
So, what's your meditation in the morning, Chris? Have you got a mouthful?
I've got a mouthful.
Oh, here we go. The only time I ask you to speak, she got a mouthful. There you go.
So we've got two very curious pigeons. Two
Those
want to
are
take
the
part in
signs
balcony
today.
banter.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're hiding from the hawk.
Yeah,
When-
well, there is a neighbour near me who keeps pigeons in block blah blah blah. So I think maybe they're his. Have you not noticed increased pigeon poo around the complex, Tim?
No, I haven't. No.
I have.
Bugger off. Oh, did I knock your wine over?
Yes, but there was very little in it. It's fine. I'm sticking to the water
You're
tonight.
sticking to the water. There's a good stick.
I was just
Did they bring
thinking
a
earlier-
message? That's what you want to check.
There you go. It was a sign.
They
Like
maybe
a
they
sign.
brought the decision.
They did.
They
and
did.
the decision was chili for everybody.
I was just thinking what you were saying, Dan. I
Well
mean,
done,
it is.
pigeons.
They're like the world is full of cliches, but most of them probably have the basis in I don't know, past good sense. But so the old one of sleeping on something, sleep on it, makes a lot of sense.
That's
Yeah.
true.
It does.
Big time,
Yeah.
because like I'm a compulsive person, and I've really tried to break that, break the back of that in my life, because I've made so many, like, I remember I went through a couple of years, I was just buying cars and bikes and losing fortune on them. You know what I mean? Buying them, selling them, buying them at a silly price and selling them at way cheaper because I seen something else that was more shiny, like,
A
um,
bauble.
and looking for outside solutions for an inside problem,
Yeah.
so
I mean, because of the pandemic and the lockdown, we haven't been out anywhere. I have lipsticks that have still to be opened. I have shoes that I've never worn, and I get really annoyed when I go shopping because I actually need nothing. And it's really annoying because I'm looking at these shops. There's nice T-shirts or nice shoes, and I'm thinking I can't justify buying any of this stuff.
That's never stopped me buying stuff.
Stopping me.
The only thing that stops me buying stuff is when I've got money. If I've got no money, I'll just spend on a credit card, right? But as soon as I've got money, I'm thinking, ooh, should
hang
I
on
do
to that.
this with it?
Indecision.
It is indecision, right? But I've been all last year when I had no money, right? I was saying, what camera was I going to get when I get me cash, right? What camera am I going to get? And the thing was, I'm now probably in the position to buy the camera I wanted last year, and I'm thinking, no, I don't need it. I don't need it. I think I did exactly what Dan's done. I went through. I said, where am I going to use it?
You went through to the end.
I went through to the end, and the thing was, I don't even use my hat cam that more often now, right? But I've got it, but I don't use it that often, And Lee uses it every day because it's in his car. I've got it in the car now, but I don't do any vlogs that I edit anymore, because it's too
All
easy to do a
live stuff.
live, right? And not only that, but I don't have time because she's saying, "You're on the bloody computer again."
I don't.
She doesn't. No, she doesn't. She doesn't.
just pull
Yeah,
the
I
plug
mean
on it,
that's
Christina.
really right what you're saying. You were sort of looking for happiness outside,
Mm-hmm.
like this gadget was going to give you some happiness
No,
or some.
the searching for the gadget and deciding
the
on the
fun.
gadget was the fun. The
Yeah,
actual
that was
going
the-
out and buying it.
Yeah, but
Don't
that
need
was
it.
the fun. That was the happiness. That or the fun, happiness, whatever you want to call it. But it was external. And then the moment you could have it,
Mm-hmm.
you realize that it's not really.
I'd rather buy a tractor in Ghana,
There you
That's
go.
it.
which we did.
And that.
Well, that's even
Nice one.
better.
It's-
Yep.
My son-in-law and my daughter have got a farm in Ghana, and they've just extended it in January. And they needed a tractor to be able to get it all done. And I don't know if I'm giving the game away here, but he's going to do tomatoes, right? And in northern Ghana,
Tomatoes.
tomatoes.
Let's fight the
All
whole
the
thing
Gonja women and the Ashanti, I think they are, they all go up to Burkina Faso to buy the tomatoes to come back to sell. In northern Ghana, it's on the border, basically. And he said, well, if I grow tomatoes,
They don't have to
then
go
they
anywhere.
don't have to go. And then,
Perfect.
yeah, so they can make more profit and sell at the same price. And so, but the only problem is it's very dry there. So now he's just bored a hole and all water came up.
Oh, he's
so
got a well. He's created a
he's
well.
brilliant.
created a well.
Excellent.
And now he wants to do irrigation. And he said, well, a tractor would be great. And I said, well, he said, we're saving up for one and all that. So I said, bang.
See? Now,
Yeah.
how much better is that than a camera?
That's much better.
And that feels good,
It
doesn't
does
it?
feel good, yeah.
And you'll get the benefit in the long run because if that's successful, they can afford to come and see you more often.
Exactly.
see?
And you get some more tomatoes.
And you get some more tomatoes.
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 Tomate.
Yeah, they got to export them to Senegal and get them over on the boats from
There you
Senegal.
go.
Yeah.
Yep.
They can send your granddaughter over with them.
Alison's got a question, and this is Alison who's got a birthday today. So
Oh, happy birthday.
not,
Happy
yeah, okay. But I have a
birthday.
question. Do you think the shock and grief can cloud a decision? Daniel says it's compulsive.
Interesting.
I used to be, but I seem to have the stuffing knocked out from me.
By grief.
I'll read the question again, but first of all, we're going to sing. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Happy
birthday to
you.
Happy birthday
Happy birthday to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday, dear
Alison.
Alison.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday to you.
and many more.
Woo!
So the question was, do you think a shock and grief can cloud a decision? Daniel says it's compulsive. I used to be, but I seem to have the stuffing knocked out of me.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think it can.
Yeah.
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 And in fact, I remember when my mum died, one of her best friends, who, anyway, was a good friend of mine, said to me, I was living here. I didn't know whether to go back to Ireland. My dad was going to be on his own. She said, don't make any decisions for 6 months.
Okay.
She took
Yeah.
me to one side. She said, do not make any decisions for 6 months. And it was probably the best thing she ever told me.
Wow.
In
Yeah.
those 6 months, I met the father of my child,
Wow.
for instance.
What, you didn't know him before?
No.
Really?
No.
Well,
And
this child
because
just
I
arrived,
decided
you didn't
to
know who the father was?
I decided to stay here rather
the
than
child
go back
wasn't
to
here at
Ireland.
the time.
Child wasn't here at
Oh,
the
okay,
time.
I got you.
I met the man who was to be the father of my child. So because of that decision, a lot of things happened.
Okay.
Now he's no longer in my life because he's not right for my life, but she is.
Okay, exactly.
And
I was going
again,
to
we're
invite
back
you.
to
She could have
decisions.
come today as well, and I forgot.
She's in school.
Oh, yeah, they have school till midnight, don't they?
Yeah,
Oh, near enough.
yeah.
Near enough.
But there's no curfew now. So.
Uh-huh. Somebody
I
was
haven't
asking-
told her there's no curfew because I don't want her to know.
Oh my
she
No,
doesn't read the
no, don't tell her.
She doesn't read the newspaper.
No,
she doesn't watch
luckily
Balcony
not.
Banter.
She watches YouTube. And,
Well, we're on YouTube.
yeah, but I don't think we're on her list of, play favourites.
Somebody's just
we're
asking
not cool.
how do you extend a farm?
No, Danny, we're
And
not.
The way you
Damn.
extend a farm in Ghana is that the chief allocates the land,
Oh, okay.
and then you've got to come with a business plan, and then he'll allocate more land.
Interesting.
So
Cool.
Does it stay in the tribe though, or in
I'm not
the
sure.
tribal
Actually.
land?
I'm not
That's
sure.
interesting.
It's actually he's in a good position because my son-in-law is related to him. So,
Oh, happy days.
but it's not nepotism in that respect because you've got to come up with a business plan before you.
Oh,
get
well,
land.
that's okay. That's okay. It's like a family corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like Ireland. It's who you know,
That's it,
what you know. It's not what you know, it's
Exactly.
who you know.
He's
And
the
Kasim's
Micheál
uncle-
Martin of Northern Ghana, obviously, Danny.
And Kasim's uncle was just elected into the national government in Ghana.
Yeah, told
so-
you, told you. Listen, back to
Oh, I'll tell
Alison's
you what.
question, though. Maybe I'm the only one who answered that about grief and decision
Yeah.
making.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know. Does
it
anybody
can
else want
it
to?
can really blur. And what you were mentioning about somebody dying, it can like it's a process that it's a pain that needs to be processed
Yeah.
because it's a loss, obviously.
And I suppose the last year there's been a lot of
and
loss.
and it takes time, and it's also not good to like, for instance, if you're grieving in this grieving process, that you are like just only pretending to not have this pain and this suffering,
To carry on as if it's normal.
Exactly. It needs this time of process and really digesting it, and then it's good. It's like healing a wound, for example. If it's not
So you-
properly cured or cared for
Yeah.
in that moment where it happened, then it will always come up again at some point.
And a wound needs to heal from the inside out, which
absolutely, and it always does. Like for instance, I can speak for myself at this particular issue as well. Like COVID or this pandemic or lockdown last year, I have used that time for myself to process the death of my father. When he died in 2019, I was too busy and too much involved in everything. So I was actually very, very grateful for this lockdown that happened last year in springtime, where I actually could go take a step back and process it with my own self, and be at a much better place now. Yeah,
that's
so
good.
I think that it's easier just to be like me, which is a functioning psychopath.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is why we're on this side of the table.
no, I mean psychopath is a real thing, and I do not feel grief. I don't know why, but I don't feel grief or sorrow.
Have you not had anything to feel truly sorrowful for yet?
Well,
Maybe.
I should imagine both my parents have died.
Yeah.
Other people who are close to me have died, and I've accepted it. I've
Yeah.
come to terms with it. But it's never been hurtful. It's been a part of my life.
Okay. So you've just accepted this is the
This
cycle.
is the way things happen, right?
Yeah.
But I don't do that. What's the word? Consciously. You know, it's just that I've never felt it. You know, and I can't imagine how could somebody like weeks later or even sometimes months or years later
Yeah.
can still feel the loss.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because to me the loss happens at that moment in time, and that's it. It's done. It's not a thing that carries on. You don't lose them again the next day.
and you are actually not losing them, because I mean you are losing them on a physical level. Yes. I'm speaking of my own experience now. You're losing them on a physical level, but on a spiritual level, and in the first place, we are spiritual beings. This body is finite.
I read somewhere that we don't have a soul. We are a soul.
We are a soul.
We have a
that's it.
body.
Absolutely.
There you go.
But
So that's it. I mean, the body is finite. Our mind is finite, but our soul is infinite. So this will always be the connection point to whoever passes away or whoever goes into another chapter. This will always be the band that connects you.
I don't want to get into a like
No,
Yeah.
it's another
the-
whole
No.
area.
another whole
It's-
area.
yeah.
But I always think that we are today. We have a great way of seeing people. We've got pictures from the 20s and 30s when my parents were born, and we've got movies. And we've got YouTube and all that stuff. So I think it's slightly different today. But it was always said that there are 3 deaths. The first death is the heart, the second death is the mind, and the third death is the worst, is when your name never passes another man's lips or another person's lips. And so as long as we talk about each other, and I think that's a good thing. But as to
The
personal
old
sort
gone,
of heartfelt,
gone but not forgotten.
gone but not forgotten, yeah. Gone
Yeah.
but not forgotten.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So for me, it was weird, really. It was weird.
Yeah.
I've still not grieved for any of the people that.
I am
Well,
sure it
thanks.
affects us all differently. I mean, like we could have a whole another program about
Exactly.
death.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Because we
So
all have
thank
different
you, Alison.
experiences.
Thank
about-
you, Alison, for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope, Alison, you're okay. By the way, if you've had the stuffing knocked out of you, virtual hugs, and I hope you are okay.
Yeah, and especially on your birthday,
Exactly.
Exactement.
because that's the days to celebrate.
And apparently, Tom is not connected to his emotional body. This can explain his drive for drink and food. Wow. I'd hate to be Tom.
Well, let's leave him in his emotional body.
There we will. Leave Tom in his emotional body.
I better go home
When
and
we
feed.
go, our soul leaves us to be reincarnated as something else, says Craig Andrews. Mm-hmm. Tim, you're not connected to your emotional body. I'm like Tom then.
There you go.
There you go.
But you do love.
This can explain your drive for drink and food. I've got a drive for drink and food because there's no shops in the area I can walk to, unfortunately.
Ta-da! Ba-bum! Ta-ding!
I can actually do a badum ching now.
A bum,
But
bum.
ching,
Yeah, but,
ching, bum, bum.
You got chings on you what?
I'm going to have to go soon, peeps, because we're way past 7.
Oh, we are. We've done 11.
OMG.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, we used to struggle to get to the hour, didn't we? And now we just go.
We go, just bang.
So I'm going to leave you with.
Sorry to bring this
No,
up,
no,
yeah,
no,
but
no,
just
no,
I have
no, it's perfect.
the child will need feeding soon with
We're gonna do
Tim's
this.
supplying the dinner, but I better bring it over to her.
So if that's perfect. So it's Christina, Giuliani, and Daniel now, and I'm going to take.
Bye-bye,
Clio.
everybody.
Oh, let me just solo Clio. You wanna
Bye,
say-
everybody. Talk
Oh,
to you soon.
solo Cleo.
Bye, Cleo.
Oh,
Solo
solo
chat, yeah.
mio. Bye, guys.
Romila Mahagot.
Bye.
Denaira who?
Deny her a
Agus
who.
Oh, man.
Denairi and Boherlat.
Ah,
She can't eat now. She's taking her
go to
earphones
my Mahagot.
Because they're horting.
because they're hurting you.
They're horting.
I'm actually going to buy you a set of earphones, or you go and get yourself a set, and I'll pay for them.
All right, well, we'll look it up on Wharton or something.
We'll go up to Wharton. Yeah.
Wharton.
Okay.
Play
you
the
know-
tape through.
That can be another vlog.
Another
Go
vlog.
to Wharton.
The
Gonna go to
Wharton
Wharton.
blog.
So I'm gonna leave and see Clio out now,
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye,
See you next
and
week.
leave you in the capable hands of Giuliani and Christina and my best
Daniel.
friend Daniel.
Daniel, thanks for joining in.
What's the crack?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem at all. I just
Yeah.
I had to plug in the phone for a few minutes because my battery was dying, so I'm gonna go back outside into the fresh air.
What were you gonna say earlier on, Christine? You were gonna say something and then you were cut off.
Because I had my mouth full.
Exactly, you had your mouth full, but now it's
I
empty.
forgot what the question was.
And I did too. Sometimes it's good to forget.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, but
Gone.
it's gone. Gone
Yeah.
with the wind.
That's the age.
No, you're just in your happy mode.
I'm in my happy mode, yeah. My problem is I try to meditate every morning
Yeah,
and I always fall asleep.
you always fall asleep.
Yeah.
But would you say that is a problem?
No.
It shows that you are reaching a level of relaxation very
Yeah.
quickly,
I'm
right?
really relaxed.
But that's
Do you
good.
do guided meditations, Christina?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
nice.
have those books I found at Audible,
The Audible.
and it's more guided.
Yeah. So that's good, and there's somebody speaking as well. So
Yeah,
so
it
maybe
is.
Tim can do that one when he has difficulties with the tinnitus thing. The guided ones will
Yeah,
always
but the
be.
thing is, the German.
They're German,
Yeah.
but you have them in English as well, or not?
No.
No.
There's a great
But I'm
app.
sure they are some in English.
Yeah. Oh, you can
There's,
also. Yeah, Daniel, what were
there's a
you going to
really
say?
good app that I use that Tim and Christina, if you want to use it, and I'm sure they have different languages. Well, they have English because I I
Yeah.
don't really have any other languages. It's called Insight Timer.
Okay.
INSIGHT Timer. And
Yeah.
I use it for
Okay.
timing all my silent meditations. But in that, they have loads of guided meditations,
Yeah.
really, really good ones.
Yeah.
That for whatever you want them for, whether it's positivity, whether it's
Yeah.
grief, which we just talked about, whether it's
Yeah.
whatever it is, bringing out like I used a lot of guided meditations when I was coming out of a painful relationship a few years ago, just trying to find a bit of peace. And
Yeah.
I was doing like 1 or 2 guided meditations a day. Sahar loves guided meditations.
Yeah.
She does them a lot. She's really big into the guided meditations.
Yeah.
So, and Insight
I
Timer is full of them.
I use them too. I mean, they even inspired me to record my own, and
Oh, brilliant.
yeah, no, it is a way as well to become more present, and I find it very relaxing. Even the recording is very meditative. So we were just suggesting, Tim, you can try the guided meditations. So there will always be somebody speaking, and then your focus won't be so much on the tinnitus.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is me again. So let me get in. I want to apologise to David if he's still watching. He came in and was very patient, and we were talking, and I was going to bring him in, and just before I was going to interject, he left. So if you're still watching, David, I do apologise. We'll catch you next time.
I know how you feel, David.
Oh, isn't she funny? Oh, you're gonna love Christine.
No. Oh, I'm too big. Hang on. We've got an extra camera now, and I want to show you the sunset, ladles and jelly spoons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out their camera. Let me do this. So bear with me, ladles and jelly spoons. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're 4 up. Let me do this. So I'm going to put this camera here, which is not as wide as the one that they've got, but I can put it further back now. So there they are. So they're in beautiful Technicolor now. Daniel's still there. What I'm going to do is show you the sunset with this camera.
Nice.
And
Yeah, some beautiful
you
sunsets
carry
lately.
on there, and I shall
Really nice
be
one.
right back.
See if I can get in from here as well, Tim.
No.
We'd have a double spot, but my battery's quite low.
Wow. Yeah, I know the sunsets here the last couple of days have been brilliant.
Oh, there it is there.
You talk amongst yourselves?
Yeah, we do.
Don't know if you can see that, but
I cannot. We
Sun's-
cannot. We both.
Oh, you
cannot
can't see, no?
anything. We are just very live, focused on the microphones and on the mobiles, and on the drinks here on the table.
Nice.
Tell the yawning.
Yeah, what they should do is I should have a monitor actually. I should have a monitor.
Oh, and
But what
and
I've
now
got is this thing here, which is sunglasses.
sunglasses for the camera.
That's good. So I'm going to solo Mio this one. Where am I? That's that one, isn't it? Okay. Solo this one. And show you guys the sunset. Can't get past because I'm so fat. Oh, there we go. Ladles and jelly spoons. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
There's the pool.
Oh yeah.
What a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day.
They can't hear me actually, they can only hear you.
Really?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me, can you? Cool dudes.
Yeah.
So there we go. That was the sunglasses. It's what we call an ND filter, neutral density filter, and you stick it on a camera so that the background is no longer blown out. So if I go and do this, I can put it up slightly. There you go. So now you got a better view for behind me. So on the other camera, as you can see, the background is so blown out because the thing is focusing on me and the background is just not exposed correctly at all. Whereas with an ND filter, everything is exposed correctly. What do you think, Dan?
Oh, yeah. Very, very snazzy.
It is snazzy.
Very snazzy.
So this, I'll show you what it looks like. That's what the ND filter looks like. And it's got a polarizer on it as well. But I'm not sure how to
Cool.
use that just now.
Like
Where'd you
polarized
get that?
sunglasses.
I bought it from an American company and they sent it FedEx.
I'll tell you what. Was it? Do you mind me asking? Was it expensive?
It was not expensive for ND filters, but ND filters are a lot of money. So
Right, okay.
it's for the phone. They actually sent me 3, but only one holder. And this is the 64, which is the darkest. So I probably won't use the other 2, but it comes with this holder, and it's quite nice. It's quite nice. But that's going to be it for next time when it's sunny. So, I can use this now, I can use this now. I'll just stick it here. There you go. Perfecto. So now we'll go back a 3 up. Where's the 3 thing? There we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I'm on twice. 1. No, I don't want that one. I've made a mistake again now.
Where do I have to look now?
This way.
Here.
There.
Okay, Christina Lee.
That's
So I'm not
ours.
going to use that one. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. There you go. There you go. Okay, so I've been really remiss with all your comments. Wonderful Christina, you tell 'em girl, says Done Trucking. My life is missing an ND filter. There you go. says Mike. It is
Make the
Mike.
decision to buy one.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But I think if you can invest in an ND filter, your pictures are nicer. What it allows you to do, it allows you to expose the picture at lower frame rates. So that means lower shutter speed. Sorry. So you get more motion blur, more natural stuff. So it's pretty cool. So this is much better, I think, a much better picture than the blown out background.
It's very moody.
It's very moody, yeah. And if I turn it round, you'll see. Do you see the difference in the polarization? I went a bit lighter there, and then if I turn the polarization back,
Yeah, it went a bit weird for a sec.
there you go. It goes darker. And
Oh yeah.
So the background, if you want it nice and blue, you turn it to polarize that way, and then you're done. There you go.
Nice.
Okay, awesome foursome. There we go. And now what we're going to do is finish, right?
Yeah.
We're going to finish.
Really?
Before we finish, though,
Someone said, I got to read this. Someone said, ND filter, no drinking filter.
no
Jan
drinking
said
filter.
that.
Talking about now drinking filter, we did say that we were going to feature Canarian wine. So I bought a bottle of Canarian wine. This was €8.40 from Two Trebol. It's called Orobal, and it is Vino de Calidad de las Islas Canarias. And I'm trying to find out exactly where it comes from.
Orotava?
Viñatigo, Embarrada Viñatigo, Pro España. I'm not sure. Can you find it on the back of there?
Let's see.
Scores on the doors. How would you rate it?
To tell you the truth, I usually drink cheap wine. You all know that. And
La Guancha.
I can't tell the difference. So it must be. No, it's not. It's probably my taste buds. I probably ruined my taste buds.
This one is a Lista Negro.
Lista Negro?
Yeah, and it's from La Guancha, which is up north.
Okay.
Yeah.
From La Guancha.
La Guancha.
Ditching my kids to go to Liverpool and Chester next week. Wish we were coming to Tenerife. Jamie, if you go to get your hair cut at the hair cafe, say hello to my sister. As I said,
Jan actually said not no drinking. I made a mistake. She said now drinking.
Now drinking.
Or Jan. It could be a he. Jan. I'm not sure.
Yanni.
Yanni. So is it a male? Is that a male's name or is it a female?
Jan.
Apologies, Yanni.
Is it yacht A-double-N-E?
Yeah.
Double N-E.
Yeah.
Jan.
Yeah.
Or it could be Jane.
Jan.
Okay, Jane. Janne. Is that male name? Is it? I do apologize, Jan. That's my ignorance of not knowing names very well. So
Janne.
Yanni, maybe?
Yeah, Janne could be a
Janne.
female name.
Could be a female?
Yeah.
Or Janne.
What is the last name? The surname?
Doesn't say. She or he is very mysterious.
Okay.
We're going to call him
I'll tell you something
Mysterious
interesting.
Yanni.
We had a guy, you would have liked the name. It might be on your life tonight as well, I don't know, but a guy called Johnny Steele. Isn't that a proper kind of
Johnny Steele. Oh,
Johnny
wow.
Steele.
Yeah.
He was on the live there at the weekend, Sunday Smoothies. Johnny Steele.
Oh, it's close to Ian.
Oh.
Yanni.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you're a guy.
Apologies.
He says male,
Yanni.
yes. There you go.
Okay. Janne.
So all your fantasies now blown out the water there, Dan.
I had none.
I know Jannis.
I know a Yannis as
Yannis.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jannis.
Yeah. Yanni. Yanni.
Yeah.
And where does it come from, Ian? Where does the name come from? Or where are you from, if you want to tell us that? You don't have to.
Yeah. Your exact address? You can put it in the comments with a link on Google Maps.
Talking about exact address, I got people following me on Google Street View now.
All right. Must be that tracker I added to your van.
Slimmer Life says Yanni is female when sober and male when drunk. Then drunk. There you go. We will not comment on that. We will not comment on that. Okay. Anyway, so what we're waiting for? We're waiting for Vamos a la Playa, of course.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Vamos a la playa.
Vamos a la Playa. Hi, Daniel. So funny, Daniel. I was chuckling, said Alison Wasal. And it's her birthday. No wonder she's chuckling.
Yeah.
Chuckling.
Okay. Finlandia.
Finlandia.
well,
that's where
Maria's saying Finlandia. From Finland.
All right.
There we
That's
go.
where Jannis is, or Janne is from.
Janne is
Yeah.
from Finlandia.
Johnny Steele.
Yeah.
Johnny Steele.
Iksi kaksi kolme.
Oh,
That's what we learned the other day, right? And now I don't know about
Say it again.
Iksi kaksi kolme. I don't know.
We're counting to
Kolme.
10.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it's
Counting
counting, is it?
Yeah.
It sounds like I caught something. No, I caught a bit of that ixy caxy column, killing me.
Good crack, guys.
Softly.
Wish I was there, says Tuckerman 66. There you go.
66.
66.
66.
So we're going to do a Vamos a la Playa,
Playa.
and then I'm going to go solo and tell people to press the buttons and stuff.
Yeah.
And then
Coola boola.
actually we're late because thingy's going on right now.
Okay.
Rick's going on right now.
All right.
I think. So where's Vamos a la Playa? Oh, here we go. Go number 8. Are we ready, guys?
Yep.
Vamos a la playa.
I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today on Balcony Banter. I hope you enjoyed the show. I want to thank Clio and Giuliani and Christina and, of course, Daniel for their contributions. They wouldn't be the same without anyone. I want to mention Dave, who came in, and I missed him, and I do apologise. And he's been in before, and I've missed him before. He thinks it's, I don't know. Vamos a la playa. So we're dancing now, kids. We're going to go have a vegetarian chili with some crispy bread, maybe, or I'll do some potatoes or rice or whatever you want. And we're going to finish off the wine. And we'll see you on the next one. Tomorrow's walk, I don't know where I'm going. Oh, Rick's on at 8 p.m. We don't have to rush. Tomorrow's walk, I'm going to try and do a little bit earlier, but because of the wine, probably not. I'm going to go to...
Come to Costa Decade. Say hello.
Are you working?
I'll be in the shop all day tomorrow, yeah.
What time you start?
I start at 10 o'clock.
Okay, then we'll go and see Dan in Costa Decchi. I'll walk around Costa Decchi and we'll go and see Dan, the man. Okay, so that's the walk
We
for
can have
tomorrow.
a coffee together.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll do it at the end then. 'Cause
Perfect.
I've got to actually walk. Unless you want to come walking, no, you're working. You can't walk and work at the same
I
Working.
time.
can't after the shop open.
No, you're right.
Top of the top here, Tim, you know.
Somebody's just popped in. It's Dave again now. I've got to bring him on. Okay?
Definitely.
Because I did promise. Dave, I do apologise. Here we go. David, let's see if we can get 4 people up now. So here's A, B, C, D.
No, I did that. Okay.
There's David. Hi, David. How are you?
How are you, David?
David.
Hey, David.
I do
Hello.
apologise for earlier. I was waiting for a lull in the thing and you came on. What's your question or what do you want to say?
No, what I did that I believe what that does, but it is that we need body where we are, but we need make our goal laugh, but if we do that, we need to get good. I did that. Where do what do the more Ali and David where do that?
Well, that was very good of you to say that, and it was very hard for you to do that, and we appreciate that. And I don't think we caught everything you said, but we really do appreciate you coming on and saying hello. And we'd like to wish you everything, all the good in the future, sorry. And we're going to go out with the rest of Vamos a la Playa. If you want to join us singing, are you ready?
Yeah.
Vamos a la playa.
So I want to thank Dave for coming back in there. It was a great sport. Thank you very, very much. And we'll see you on the next one,
David.
guys. Thanks, Dan. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. I'm going to solo me now, and we're going to go to the goodbye session. So, oh, solo mio. Google thinks you might like to watch this one next. And if you go to the little button in the corner with the wedding photograph, You'll find out how to sponsor the channel, and don't forget, press the round button if you want to subscribe. I'd like to thank each and every one of you, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.